talking about tonight, and you looked at two articles. One was Crawford. I have to look at the writers of them. One was Crawford, and the other one Williams and Hatcher. Yeah, that's right. And those articles are basically concerned with emotions and the issue of leadership, or emotions and the issue of instruction in education. And actually, this has kind of almost been a lost topic in a lot of ways. There's sort of ways that we typically handle emotions, and to be honest with you, they're not very constructive. What we typically do with emotions is, has anybody ever seen a pattern like this? Somebody come in and they say they're feeling something, okay? So you have an emotion. You have an emotion that is being felt. It could be anger, it could be frustration. Obviously, we're talking about a negative emotion because we don't worry about someone when they're happy or joyous. Normally, we don't, okay? But somebody's feeling something, and can we tell me, what is a typical response? What is a typical response of somebody? They're trying to help, but what will they say? What's a typical response? I've seen this many times, you've seen it, we've probably all done it. We don't want to think about it, but we've probably all done it. What's a typical response? Which is not very helpful, but it's typical. You guys can't? No? Go ahead, what are you going to say?
You'll be okay, everything's going to be okay.
You'll be okay, everything will be fine.
Yeah.
Right? So you get emotion, let's say it's anger, right? And we say it'll be fine. This is a typical response. It'll be fine. We'll look at why these might be a challenge in a minute. But let's look at typical responses. It'll be fine. What else do you hear people say? If you say, okay, I'll give you a hint. It often begins with the words, you shouldn't. Can somebody fill that in for me? You shouldn't what? You shouldn't what, Fatima?
You shouldn't have done it to become angry.
Okay, you shouldn't be angry. You shouldn't be feeling that, right? We say you shouldn't. You shouldn't be feeling that. You shouldn't be thinking that. You shouldn't be looking at it that way, right? You shouldn't. That's sort of a starter words, right? We've all, see, this is not hard for any of us, is it? Because we've all heard this. We've all had it done to us, and we've probably all done it, right? Now, what's another one? I'll give you another hint. It's not.
It's not as bad as
It's not that bad. It's not, what else? Fill it in.
Your self-control.
You're not showing self-control, or it's not good of you to lack control. It's not the end of the world. It's not like that, right? Okay? And the other thing is, this is a typical response that you see. Now, let's just make something up. Now, I don't know that I could ever be angry at Jackie, because Jackie's so wonderful. So I'm going to pick on Jackie, because this is very unlikely this could happen. Okay? But let's say I'm angry at Jackie about something. She's done something to make me angry. And so I go over here to Tom, and I want to see if you can pick up on this. Another typical response. Okay? And I say to Tom, you know, I'm really frustrated with Jackie. That's an emotion, negative emotion, right? I'm frustrated with Jackie. I just can't seem to get through to her. I keep trying to tell her that I want her to listen to these ideas, and, you know, it's just not getting anywhere. I'm just so frustrated. Now, think of this. What is often the response of somebody in Tom's situation? And he'll say something about Jackie that's likely to make me worse, even though he thinks he can make it better. What's he likely to say? Anybody?
to make you worse or to feel?
It will probably make it worse, but he's trying to help. He's not trying to make it worse. He thinks it'll make it better. What is he likely to say? And it involves Jackie. No? Okay, I'll give you another hint. You've seen this. You've all heard this. This is not new, because you've all probably done it. I've done it. It doesn't work, but we all do it. It involves taking Jackie's side. Now can you fill it in? What will Tom respond? Typically.
No, she's not like that.
She's not that bad. Or she meant it this way, right? So what they'll do is, here you could say, take the other person's side. Take other person's side. Now, the truth is, it may be 100% correct. In fact, in the case of Jackie, it probably is correct. Because I don't see Jackie as someone that goes around upsetting people. I doubt that happens very often. She's not what we call an abrasive personality, right? Which is why I picked on her, okay? Because it's pretty obviously it's not likely to happen. Okay, I'm not going to pick on somebody where that might happen, they get offended, okay? But the point I'm making is this. These reactions, do they work? Do they work? If you tell somebody, it'll be fine, it'll be fine, how do they react? Have you ever done it? Have you ever done it? You've done it, Valentine, I've done it too. How do they react? It'll be fine. Don't worry, it'll be fine. I've been lying. Hang time. I've been lying. I've been lying. Come on, how do they react?
Maybe okay, maybe okay, or maybe we should.
Yeah! That's a typical reaction. BS. Right? They don't want to hear it. This doesn't work. What about this one? You shouldn't be feeling that. Well, there's a great thing to tell somebody. Your wife's angry, you know? My wife, I've done it once or twice, I don't do it anymore, I learned my lesson. You know? And it's like, you shouldn't feel that. I said, what the heck? Or something worse. We're on tape, I gotta be careful. But you know, that's what I feel. This is really a bad one because this does what we call invalidates. Invalidates. This is an important thing in emotion. Invalidates or invalidate someone's feelings. That's about the worst thing you could possibly do. And we're doing it trying to help a person. We're innocently trying to help them most of the time. But what you do is you say, you shouldn't feel that. You know what? Your feelings are just there. It's like the rain. It's like the sun coming up in the morning. Imagine getting up tomorrow morning and looking at the sun and saying, don't come up! Stop! Is it going to change anything? Is the sun going to come up still? Yes. Will the sun listen to you? No. The sun will come up anyway, right? Exactly. You know what? That's what people's emotions are like. Right? They feel now. Can we control our emotions and manage them? Yes. And we need to do that to a certain extent. But the feeling, we're not talking about controlling them. I'm not saying the person's angry so they can go ahead and I'm mad at Jackie, so whack. No. That's not appropriate. We're not talking about that. Right? We're talking about the feeling of it. You tell somebody they shouldn't feel that way, they might not react. You know, I'll be honest with you, that's one of the challenges in different cultures. In this country, for example, in Thailand, typically the person will not react. Right? So let's say A is feeling very upset about something that I've said or done. And I say to her, you shouldn't feel that way. I didn't mean it that way. Let's just see how many of those I can put together. You know, I might say this, I might say, I'll start off with, it'll be fine. I smile, it'll be fine. And then I say, you shouldn't feel that way, you really shouldn't. It's not that way. Now I've done three shots to her, right? And typically in Thailand, will she react? In Thailand. Will she react in Thailand? She will? In Thailand? Typically in Thailand, I would say no. She will not react. She will not say anything to me. She may give me, if I'm very perceptive, I may get a little bit of facial feedback. Her color might change a bit. Her breathing might change. Yeah, right? These are typical indicators, right? Or maybe her body posture might change a little bit. But she's unlikely that she'll react, right? Now, if you are someone that would actually string 3 or 4 of those together, it's unlikely you're going to notice those signals because you're not really very awake, okay, to say all that. You know, to say one and then notice it, okay. Hopefully nobody does 3 or 4 in a row, right? But the point I'm making is this. The more, because, here's what I'm getting to. Just because she doesn't react, does that mean she's not feeling hurt? Doesn't mean she's not feeling hurt. Really?
Yes.
No.
I don't agree with that. Okay, Fatima, what do you think?
I think these Asian people, like Southeast Asian, they don't have a face. You can
So they don't react, but does it mean they're not feeling hurt?
No.
No, it doesn't.